5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I was just telling Mike Fallon that I was at a conference up in Chattanooga. Robin and I went to a conference, and it was about campus activities in colleges throughout the South. And somebody said, what school is in Ocala? And I said, oh my gosh, we got like 10 schools in Ocala. We got so many schools in Ocala. And I only know that because of these visits we have with you, Mike. So this is Higher Education Happenings. Mike Fallon is here. Mike is the Community Relations Coordinator at Webster University here in Ocala. Greg Senko is here. He's a staff assistant and VA certifying official at St. Leo University. Terry Little-Berry is here, Director of Enrollment Services at the College of Central Florida across the street. Jean Imes is here, Assistant Director of Financial Aid, also at the College of Central Florida. Crystal Flynn is here with some beautiful new hair. She's the Regional Campus Coordinator and Academic Advisor at UCF Ocala campus, and I think I got everybody. Did I miss anybody? I always miss the lady in the corner. I always miss you. Well, good morning to everybody. How are you all doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good to see you all. I think last time you were here was the beginning of the school year, so was it more hectic at that time than it is now?
Absolutely, it was.
Settled down a little bit more?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're all gearing up for spring, so it'll start again soon for us.
Are you real?
Oh, yeah. Never ends, right?
So October, spring is already on your list, huh?
Our application deadline for students who want to start with us in this
You're earlier than Walgreens.
Is November 1.
Apply for college, get your flu shot.
Yeah, Walgreens is always at least a half a year ahead, or a few months ahead.
That's great. So today we're going to talk about paying for college.
Paying for it, okay.
Yeah, how you pay for it, financial aid, scholarships, grants, all kinds of fun things. So typically we start off with the College of Central Florida because they're usually the first step after high school. So we want to have them talk a little bit about maybe preparing while in high school and then the first steps, and then we'll kind of transition to our other schools and all kinds of information that we have to share today.
Okay.
Great.
Good morning, this is Terry, and as Mike said, we want to talk about getting started with college. The first thing that any student should do, especially if you're in high school, is go to your guidance counselor and talk with your guidance counselor. Your guidance counselor can help you decide what type of institution is best for you. And once you decide on that, then you have to narrow your choices down as to what school you might be interested in. Hopefully it's College of Central Florida, but it could also be a UCF or a UF or St. Leo or Webster or any of those institutions. So you want to start out by talking with your guidance counselor, figuring out what type of school is best for you, and then visit that school's website or those websites to determine what the application process looks like for you. At College of Central Florida, our application process is fairly simple. You just need to go online at www.cf.edu, complete the application for admissions, pay your application fee, which is only $25.
Okay.
Order your transcripts from your high school because we have to have official transcripts. Once you do that, then you may have to take a college placement test, but if you've already taken the SAT or ACT, you can certainly provide us with a copy of those scores. Or we offer a placement test, the PERT, Post-Education Readiness Test, at College of Central Florida. And after that, it's a done deal.
Really?
We move through the process fairly simple. Most students can complete our application process within 24 to 48
Now,
hours.
who's the candidate for the PERT test? Is that somebody older like me?
Not necessarily. Everybody? Is required to provide some type of test.
Okay.
Fortunately for the students that are coming directly out of high school, if you graduated from 2007 forward, from a Florida public high school, the state of Florida does not require you to take a college placement test to enter any of the college system schools. So like College of Central Florida or Valencia or schools like that, you would not be required to take a placement test.
The money part of this, Mike said we're going to talk about the money. Is it the opposite of the advice they give you when you're going to buy a house? When you're going to buy a house, they say, find out how much you can borrow first, then go look for a house. It sounds like with going to college, you go to the college first and apply, and then you look for the money. Is that right?
You can do it simultaneously, which is why we encourage you to speak with a guidance counselor, because when you talk with if you're in high school, when you talk with the guidance counselor, they're going to give you information, not only help you figure out what school is best for you, but also provide you with information about how to apply for scholarships, where you might begin your scholarship search. But anytime you visit a college's website, you should also do a search for scholarships. Every college has their own institutional scholarships that they provide.
Okay.
So you can find information about that on our website and any of the other institutions. I'm sure that they have scholarship information listed. So you're doing it simultaneously.
Okay, all right.
The website's a really awesome place to find out that information about how much college costs. We're all required to publish our cost of attendance, and it really behooves high school students, their parents, anyone looking at coming to college, to go to the various websites of the colleges they're interested in and look at the cost of attendance, and you'll find great information there that helps you make an informed decision.
Do you have many students who have benefited from their parents thinking ahead? So when the students were children, little babies, that they did that prepaid college thing, and they're now cashing in on that? Do you have a lot of that? You do?
Absolutely. We can use that at the university, but that can absolutely be used at a college like the College of Central Florida. And that's a great planning mechanism. There's open enrollment during certain periods every year. I think it's right now, isn't it? Or right about now for everybody who's got a new little munchkin. You can get enrolled. In fact, we're doing it for my niece. It's a great way to start planning ahead and put that nest egg away, so then once your child graduates, you don't have to worry about where to come up with the money to get through whatever they've decided to do, education-wise. You don't have to worry about loans and things like that at that point.
Yeah, right.
You certainly have those options, and there are good options and not so good options, but planning ahead like that is a wonderful way to prepare.
Does that guarantee entry, though? You still have to pass the tests, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like Florida Prepaid wouldn't have any implication on where you were admitted. That just means you've got a nest egg to pay for it.
You still have to do your work. You still have to be a good student and due diligence and all that other stuff.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes we're not as prepared, though, but there's lots of other options.
I'm guessing most people are not, though, right?
What would you say, Jean?
I would say most people are not.
Yeah.
Most people are not. They get close to the end of high school or even out of high school and go, wow, how am I going to pay for college? Right. And they don't have that prepaid college plan. And so go into Plan B. And we're very good. I think all of us are very good at helping students work on that Plan B. But it takes a lot of diligence and a lot of work on the student's part to find those scholarships, to find the opportunities. We talked about discounts for students around town, ways that students can live inexpensively. But I think the scholarships, the institutional scholarships are one of the very best ways. At CF, we have more than $700,000 of institutional scholarships that we award every single year. It's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
And everybody talks about the money is out there, but people just don't actively search for it and apply for it. It can be donated from in-kind donations from alum. It could be from different organizations, community partners, endowments, all kinds of ways the money can be sourced from. It's really important to follow up with what Terry said. If you're thinking of going to college right out of high school and then you're talking to your guidance counselors, it's also never too early to start speaking with the financial advisors at the university you're thinking of attending once you finish your associate's degree, if you're doing the 2+2 route. All of the universities at CF that are in the University Center, St. Leo, UCF, we all have folks on staff who can actively speak to a prospective student who may be planning a couple of years out to be with us, talking to them about what they can do to plan ahead and some options.
And their parents.
And
that's really key, right?
Right, you can bring your parents in because there's a lot of gray area where parents, we were talking the other day in our planning meeting for this show about how some parents are apprehensive about signing certain things. They don't quite understand what the impact of it is. Can you all talk about the impact of the FAFSA and signing on that and what that means?
Can we do that after the break? Because we're coming up on a break. So we'll do the break, and when we come back. I remember when my son was going to school, before he started the college, I was confused. Just the terminology was confusing. And I think I brought this up to you in previous visits. We'll take a little break and be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, times of clouds and sun and warm. With a shower or thunderstorm in the area, high 82 to 86. There can be a shower this evening near the coast, otherwise partly cloudy tonight. Those 64 inland, 69 at the coast. Tomorrow, times of sun and clouds, just a chance of a shower, high 81 to 85. And on Friday, sunshine, some clouds, and quite nice, the high 81 to 85. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Can't do anything about crime in our community? Wrong. You can call Crime Stoppers with any information about any crime or any wanted person anytime. You may get a reward up to $1,000. We guarantee you will remain anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers tip line 368-7867 to pass along any information, no matter how seemingly unimportant. We don't want your name, just information. Call 368-STOP.
Hi, this is Brad. I want to take a moment to talk about a serious issue. In the next 5 years, the aviation industry is projected to have a shortage of commercial pilots. Now is the time to start training. Ocala Flying Club has started a scholarship for the youth of Marion County ages 17 to 24. The club will donate up to $4,000 towards a pilot's license. This will help get the student on their way to obtaining their commercial pilot license. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, or if you know someone that would be, please contact Ocala Aviation Services, 861-7484.
Robin, let's try a little plant trivia. Name this nursery. It's a not-for-profit, and it teaches growing and caring for plants to their students.
Oh, that's easy. Kenny's Place.
Or how about this one? It's a nursery conveniently located between Ocala and Bellevue.
Again, it's Kenny's Place.
Or how about this one? A nursery with a wide variety of just what you need or want at the most reasonable prices.
Kenny's Place, of course.
Kenny's Place at 7677 Southeast 41st Court. Give them a call at 867-1213. It's a caring place for people and plants. It's Kenny's Place.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing service, we also offer fence row spraying. Now is the perfect time to get ahead on weed control for an overall aesthetic appearance. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440.
The Kingdom of the Sun Concert Band, under the leadership of conductor Les Muncaster, presents the musical presentation Veterans Like the Stars. It'll be on Sunday, November 8th at 6:30 p.m. at the Ocala Marion County Veterans Memorial Park. Free admission. Bring your families, your friends, your blankets, your lawn chairs, and join the Kingdom of the Sun Concert Band for a very special evening of music, fireworks, and good old American spirit. For more information, call 624-9291 or go online to kingdomofthesunband.org. All right, 18 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We're talking about higher education right here in our own community. And we are represented by how many schools in the room right now? 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 schools, right? 3 schools, Mike? 4?
Yeah, 4 schools.
So we're going to continue with the FAFSA. F-A-F-S-A, right? What does that stand for again?
FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid, and very important for students. Remember, the first word of that is free.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes, yes, yes.
Students will always go to FAFSA.com. Don't do that. They want you to pay $80 to $100 to fill out something that is free. So you go to fafsa.ed.gov. That is the entryway to all financial aid. It is the initial application that goes through the U.S. Department of Education and then routed to the schools that you select. And that is the basis, the starting point for all financial aid awards. Pell Grants, scholarships, loans, it all runs through that. And that opens on January 1. So seniors in high school.
Oh, really? So if you're barking up the wrong tree, do they get back to you and say, this is not the right one, but here's the other one. This one would be better for you?
Well, it's like a clearinghouse. It kind of processes your information against all of the qualifications for all the different kinds of aids at the school that you elected.
Right. Okay.
So if you don't fill one of those out, then you're at a disadvantage because you can't qualify for things. And there are some. You mentioned the other day, because I'm not a financial aid expert. You mentioned the other day that there are some types of financial support that unless you have a FAFSA on file, you don't qualify for.
Right.
That's the number one requirement.
Yeah, one of those actually would be there's something called FRAG, which is the Florida Resident Access Grant for private schools, and it's basically, I mean, there are a number of requirements. The main one is that you have to have been a Florida resident for the past 12 consecutive months, and then there's certain forms of proof that you furnish for that, such as a lease or agreement or a mortgage or a driver's license, things like that. But that could be good for and it depends on the school, but it could be $1,200, $1,500 a semester, depending. So again, you only get that though if you have done your FAFSA.
Is St. Leo, forgive me for this, is St. Leo considered a private school?
Yes.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we have some parents who, if you are below the age of 24, generally you're going to be considered a dependent student for the purpose of financial aid. Even if you live on your own, have a job, it's the U.S. Department of Education looking at the family unit to pay for your college expenses. So it requires parent information. We have a lot of parents who are dubious about providing their information.
Sure, that makes sense.
We have a challenge in convincing them that they're not obligating themselves to anything. They're just providing their financial information so that their student can qualify for financial aid. And that's a barrier we'll come across.
And are most of these conversations happening on the phone, across a desk, or on the internet? How is this?
Yes.
All of the above?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
So, well, that's good news to me, because I would always prefer to be across the desk. I'm an across the desk kind of a guy. It's old-fashioned maybe, but...
That's okay.
Although I'm getting more comfortable with the computer. I think I prefer computer to phone, actually.
Well, that's one of the great things about the University Center at CF, that all of these university partners are present. We have staff there on a regular basis that can assist students, prospective students who are thinking of coming right away, right after high school, or a year or so from now. They can bring their parents, they can come in, they can meet with whoever they're looking for support from, whether it's to talk about an academic program or to talk about scholarship opportunities. And they can plan ahead, we can speak with them, and get the ball rolling in the right direction. And one of the other things we talked about in advance of this meeting was for parents to be aware of, and the student as well, of all the different organizations and agencies and employer partners that may offer scholarships, stipends, tuition waivers. We all, to some degree, can honor those different kinds of options that are totally separate from having to borrow money to pay for college. If you're a member of a certain club or organization, they may have a scholarship, and it can maybe just be a $50 scholarship, but that could help pay for a particular school book. Every little bit helps.
It's stacking. It's great. It's like walking in the mall here. If you have a coupon and it's on sale, and you got a gift card grandma gave you, it's a wonderful thing. I know that we were talking about corporate partners, and tuition discounts with corporate partners, and then we looked at financial aid options and tuition reimbursement. Well, there are partners that we both have, or multiple schools have, where you get a 10 or 20% tuition discount. Then they will give you up to $5,250 a year in tuition reimbursement. So right there, I mean, you can look at those discounts and look at your final number and save a lot of money on college. So if you're not fully prepared, or you do have a scholarship, you can apply that too.
Is it an every year thing? Do you have to redo this next year? Yeah, okay.
Yes, yes. The FAFSA you do every single year, and that confuses students sometimes. It's not just that first year, but every single year you do the FAFSA and requalify for it. Another option for those employment waivers is we have a lot of state employees. The public colleges and universities offer fee waivers for state employees. It's a tremendous benefit.
Oh, really?
So if you think of continuing your education and you're a state employee, to step away from the traditional aid students for just a second, you need to research that, because chances are there are partners over at CF that you could absolutely continue and finish your degree using a tuition waiver.
Wow. And do you have to be with the state for a year, or is there a limited
there are requirements that have to be met to use that.
And there are a couple items I wanted to touch on that we talked about briefly so far, but as far as the scholarships, there is a great website for students to use. It's called fastweb.com.
Okay.
It's an excellent hub for a bunch of different scholarships there. And like Gene mentioned with the FAFSA, when you're applying for this, it is free. So, be aware of, scam sites out there. The same thing can apply for scholarships as well. If you're getting asked to pay for a scholarship search or a scholarship application, don't apply for it, because scholarships are looking to get rid of money, not take yours. And then the other thing, we're talking about stacking. Mike mentioned that with for our veterans with their VA benefits, they can stack that in addition to federal aid. So if you're getting, your federal student loans or the Pell Grant, that is in addition to the VA benefits. They're not going to be subtracted from your VA benefits.
Are you eligible for assistance if you have a big bank account? If you have a lot of money, that is a stupid question, I guess. But
academic scholarships based on merit.
Yeah, part of the FAFSA equation in terms of determining your eligibility does take into account the family assets. So it is part of the equation.
You would want the money to go to people who needed it, I would think.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is part of the equation, but it's not the only part of it. There's also other factors: the family income, the number of members in the family in the household, the number of household members who are in college. Those things all factor into it. So yes, the assets are one part of it, but there's not a huge penalty for saving for your kids' college.
Right. Well, and that's good to know as well. The website that you gave again, Greg, what was it again? I wanted to write that down.
Fastweb.com.
Fastweb.com. Okay. Right. Fastweb.com is just one word, right? No hyphen.
Correct. Right. One word. And there are scholarships for everything under the sun out there. If your father was a Vietnam veteran, if one of your parents is a firefighter.
Really?
Yeah, it's really endless.
My goodness.
I've even seen in times past where students have done searches and we've come across scholarships because they're looking for people who are left-handed or have some type of respiratory illness or what have you. So scholarships are not limited to just academics and GPA and that kind of thing. There really are a ton of scholarships for everything under the sun.
If they have Native American ancestry, all kinds of options.
It comes back to doing your research and doing the work to find them.
And another thing that's important to know also is that if you happen to be under the age of 28, I believe is the threshold, but if you happen to be under the age of 28 and were in the foster care system, or were a ward of the state,
great point.
Possibly adopted out of foster care, there is tuition assistance for you as well.
That is really a great program.
So again, come in, talk to someone. You can always come into the financial aid office at College of Central Florida, or as Crystal said, any of our partners in the University Center. Sit down and talk with someone and just let us talk through your situation, your background, and see what we can do to help you find scholarships.
First step is to find the school you want, right?
Absolutely.
That's first step, okay.
And I would also recommend too, while FastWeb is an awesome resource, there are a lot of scholarships that might not necessarily be online, like a lot of local things. So I would check your Rotary Club, your Freemasons.
Yes.
I would check your local groups like that do offer scholarships that aren't necessarily going to be very visible or highly publicized like those on FastWeb.
Right.
Yeah.
Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
Again, your high school counselors are a great source for that. I have 2 kids in college and one who's a senior in high school. The high school guidance counselors are a great resource for those students looking for local scholarships.
We've been present in a couple of scholarship award ceremonies, and it looks like the check goes to the person. How do you guarantee that it gets used for education?
Well, sometimes it goes to the person, but oftentimes
or is it just an honor system?
Like a ceremonial thing, and it goes right.
You got $500 for education. You can't blow it. You got to use it for that.
Right.
Sometimes it'll go, like if they issue a check, it may go to the person, but made out to the school.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, really?
Correct. Yeah. There's a check and balance typically there.
And then the other side of it is once you have a student in college, there's all sorts of extras that they can utilize. If they're in good academic standing, they can get discounts on their insurance, all kinds of things, discounts on cell phones. So there's also a plus to not just getting your student in, but supporting so you have a student who's in good academic standing. That can pay off.
Would everybody please give the websites to the different schools? I know we've got about a minute and 15 seconds.
Sure. Mike Fallon, Webster University, webster.edu/Ocala.
Okay. For St. Leo, it is stleo.edu. Saint is spelled out.
Okay.
And we are at www.ucf.edu, or you can look up ucfocala.com for our local regional campus.
Okay.
We are cf.edu.
All right, and Terry, same school. Okay.
Right.
Well, thank you all for coming in. Thank you for, and we'll see you next week, Mike. Right?
Yeah.
And
we'll be here next month as well.
Yeah.
Next week.
Working on a date, but next month's show will focus on veterans. So be sure to check in for that.
Oh, excellent. Okay, and that'll be close to Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
right?
hopefully.
What's your favorite Halloween candy?
Chocolate, anything chocolate.
Anything chocolate?
Mounds bars.
Mounds.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Candy corns.
Candy corns.
I'm a chocolate girl.
Yeah.
Terry, what'd you say?
Candy corns.
Oh, you said candy corn. Okay. Nobody said Kit Kats. No?
In a pinch.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.